We're officially about 2.5 weeks into the season. The Golden State Warriors have a record of 5-4, and even though they just played a game against the Sacramento Kings in which literally nobody played, I think it showed us a lot about this team and what it could potentially mean for the future. So it's time to talk about the Warriors. Coming into the season, there were a bunch of concerns that I feel a lot of fans had with this team, mainly concerning the age, some concerns with size, and other concerns such as, I don't know, the amount of overall offense creation, for lack of a better word. Starting with the age, and I feel like this has been one of the most concerning things early in the season, but it could also just be the schedule, because if you're unaware, the Warriors to start this season have one of the most grueling schedules that I've ever seen in my life. They are going to have, I saw a tweet the other day about this. They are going to have played 5 back-to-backs before any other team has played 3. They play 3 back-to-backs alone in the month of November, all 1 week after the other. And that's just a lot of games to be having to play early on in the season, especially for a team as old as this one. Also, a lot of games on the road, so a lot of traveling as well. Their schedule does lighten up in December and January. They have a super long homestand. I believe it's 8 games in January, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see what the team might actually look like at that point before we really say too much about that. You already have, not necessarily to do with injury, but Steph has been sick for the last couple games, which might have explained the god-awful play in both the Milwaukee and the Indiana games. If not the Milwaukee game, then at the very least the Indiana game. And it was something that he actually missed the Sacramento game for. There's no telling, as of me recording this, whether he is actually going to be playing in Denver for the first Cup game. Illness has pretty much been the downfall of Steph early in the season, as well as just some other bonehead decisions that he's made, which you expect from him at this point. So I'm not really counting that as old age because it's just illness. But in the case of someone like Al Horford, I think that his age as well as the schedule is really affecting him, mainly because with the amount of back-to-backs that Golden State is actually having to play, that means that is a lot of games that he literally is just not playing. So I feel like he is not getting the reps that he is really going to be needing to really get acclimated with this team and really kind of get into a rhythm, especially shooting wise, because it really has shown early in the season that he does not have his shooting rhythm at all. He right now is 21% from 3. He has not made a 3 in the month of November yet. And even though he has been playing well in other areas of the game, rebounding, he was huge for Golden State as a rebounder in the Kings game. The big reason why you sign Al Horford is because of the floor spacing, and that really hasn't come along this season yet. I am not pushing the red button on Al Horford yet, but I do believe that with the amount of back-to-backs that Golden State still has to play, especially in the month of November, I wouldn't count on him getting into any sort of rhythm early on in the season, which is going to be, I think, pretty big going forward. And on the same topic of not having as many reps with this team, Al Horford, there was a specific play in my rewatch of the Kings game where it looked like the Warriors were trying to run split action for Brandon Podziemski. Al Horford was in the post on the baseline. Will Richard, I believe, was setting the screen, and B-Pods was coming off, and Al wasn't even really looking for it. It's sort of the same thing that ironically, a lot of people were saying about JK last season, how he was sort of just going and not really paying attention to the actual action that was being run. I think that's also something to keep in mind going forward. But yeah, that was also something that I realized. The shooting has been a little bit concerning, but again, we'll see what happens as he starts to be actually able to play more minutes. But the age with him definitely is a factor because it is directly leading to all these things. On a more positive note, and going back to the Kings game, which I just referenced, in which the Golden State Warriors lost a pretty tough game against a Kings team that was also missing a lot of players. No Steph Curry, no Jimmy Butler, no Draymond Green, no Zach LaVine, no Domantas Sabonis, no Keegan Murray. 6 starters out combined for this game. Even though at first glance there probably wasn't a lot to take away from this game because there were so many people out, I do feel like in games like this you can find some takeaways, and there definitely were some. Mainly Will Richard, Moses Moody, 2 names that need no introduction if you saw the game. Moses Moody should be a guaranteed starter at this point, even if you don't, or at least playing starter level minutes. on, say, the nights where you want to run the, same Steph, Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green lineup, but you don't want to have Draymond Green at center. You want to have, say, I don't know, Post as your starting center. So there would, in theory, be no room for him. I would still love to see Moses Moody playing, 25 to 30 minutes on those types of nights, even when he's not starting. And I don't think that it should have even taken this long to kind of come to that conclusion, because he has been such a positive player, not just this season, but the last couple seasons, really. I've already talked extensively on this channel about Moses Moody's potential as a POA defender, point of attack defender. He's really improved as a shooter this year, especially in terms of consistency, because I felt like that was the one thing that was really holding him back as a shooter, is that he would have some nights where he was just lacing them, but then other nights where he was like, I don't know, 0 for 4. This season, and it is just 8 games, but Moses Moody is shooting 51% from 3. He's had over 20 points now 2 straight games after not playing that many minutes inexplicably against the Indiana Pacers. He should be 25-30 minutes a night. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. And if he is going to be playing that many minutes, that means that just by default, he is going to be taking minutes away from somebody else. And that brings me to the next player in Brandon Podziemski. Man, I said during preseason that he sort of looks like the same player as last year. And I also mentioned that that's not necessarily a bad thing, because he does a lot of really positive things for this team. But I feel like at this point, when it comes down to having Moses Moody versus Brandon Podziemski in the starting lineup, I feel like just Moses is becoming the more obvious pick, just because of the overall defense that he's going to be providing you and the floor spacing. Brandon Podziemski is still sort of an inconsistent shooter. He's sort of inconsistent in being able to actually get separation to be able to get his shot off when he is the primary ball handler. I feel like the thing that was working so well for him, especially as a rookie and in year 2, was his ability to kind of beat players to the spot and be able to take charges. But he has been put in, I feel, a lot of situations where he is guarding the ball handler this season, and it shows that he is just not quick enough to be able to keep up with these guys. This is something that I said in preseason, and also something that I've mentioned on stream and on Twitter after both the Milwaukee game and the Indiana game. This team is gonna struggle against fast guards and dribble penetration, and that's really been an issue with this team over the last, I want to say, like 3 seasons or so. They just cannot stay in front of the ball, especially if the player handling the ball, whether it be a Quentin Jackson or a Dennis Schroeder or a Ryan Rollins, if that guard is fast and they have a quick first step, yeah, bad things are usually gonna happen. So when we're talking about that, I think that Moses Moody at this point is more equipped to be able to handle dribble penetration like that. There were also a couple plays in the Sacramento game that just were not ideal. B-Pods got cooked off ball a handful of times. He was getting fried by Dennis Schroeder at certain points during the game. And overall defensively, I have my doubts about him. I want to reiterate, I understand that B-Pod still does really positive things for this team, but in terms of his value over someone like Moses Moody or Will Richard at this point, not gonna lie, we really gotta, I think, have some pretty honest conversations with ourselves, which, as I just mentioned, brings me to Will Richard. Now, Will Richard is someone that I always kind of felt should have a guaranteed rotational spot. Maybe not, like 20 minutes a night, but he should be playing. He has proven to provide value at a lot of points in preseason and just the early part of the season, especially as a shooter and as a defender, making all the hustle plays, grabbing rebounds, tapping out the ball, and overall he's just been really positive whenever he's been on the floor. The Kings game, 30 points, and I think overall, like Moses Moody, it was just a situation where he sort of provided a lot of value and really showed why he belongs in the rotation and not, being DNP'd for, I believe, 3 games in a row after having a pretty solid game against Denver early in the season. Will Richard, Moses Moody, loved what I saw. Now, another player that played great in that game, and, we'll kind of get some flack for the last play, but I don't think that it really is indicative of the type of season that he could potentially have. Jonathan Kuminga has really, I wouldn't say proven me wrong, because I always felt like he could be this type of player, but he just wasn't. My issue was, is he actually going to want to be this type of player? And the answer is absolutely yes. This dude, JK, has been fantastic to start the year. Just making all the little plays. He's really become an improved passer as well. He's become a lot more unselfish, really seeing how the plays are developing. He's had a couple of crazy passes where it's like a Draymond-esque pass, which is something that you wouldn't expect, especially this early on. JK, man, he has been just absolutely great to start the season. I actually don't really have anything negative to say about him other than some decision making in the Kings game, more specifically the final play, which I'm sure everybody has seen at this point, where DeMar DeRozan tries to flop. JK seems like he has already kind of decided what shot he's going to take. He didn't really adjust on the fly, and he has a wide open layup because DeMar DeRozan flopped, and he takes a fadeaway, which he misses instead of sort of, you know, adjusting and stepping through, going for the layup. That was really one of the only negative things about him this game, other than the fouling, which hasn't really been an issue for him so far this season. I understand that play is kind of being overblown right now, but for me personally, I'm liking what I'm seeing from him so far this season, and I hope that it continues. Overall, I think this team has had some issues early on in the season, and those issues have led to 2 pretty bad losses that shouldn't have happened. The Warriors realistically should be sitting here at 7-2 instead of 5-4. It happened. What can you do? I think that, as I said before, the POA and also fast players are going to be an issue for this team for the foreseeable future. It's just something that this team has inherently struggled with. But other than that, I like a lot of what I've seen so far from this team. It's just the main issues that I've highlighted in this video. That's just been the kind of, I don't know, concerns that I've had. And again, once we're done with all these back-to-backs, once we're done with this nonsense schedule, I do think that we're going to be able to see and be able to judge this team a little bit more accurately, especially since we will have seen way more games played overall. So that's about it from me. A little short kind of update video, just explaining my thoughts and what I've been seeing. Let me know what you think about this Warriors start down below. Obviously, I'm gonna probably see a bunch of stuff about the Bucks game and the Pacer game, which were 2 terrible losses. Let me know what you think about the Warriors so far this season. What have you liked? What would you like to see changed, etc. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell to be notified when I upload. Comment down below what you want to see next. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.